What's up? It's your girl, Ms.NiyaNicole, and I'm back here with another episode of the Ms.NiyaNicole Show. So this time I have a very, very special guest. He's from Harlem.
Yeah.
Grammy considered. Teacher, dad, husband. And we basically knew each other from birth. Give it up for Showtime.
Yeah.
How you feeling?
What's good, y'all, man? I'm feeling great, man. Happy to be here, on the NiyaNicole Show. I'm about to spark y'all soul, you heard?
Right. We out here sparking soul. So our mothers are best friends. They used to be video girls back in the days. They was outside in Apollo dancing. They was in a group called Never Too Much.
Hip-hop.
Right. And then I also believe your mom started a group called Gucci Girls.
Yep. She was doing her thing. Yep, Apollo.
So your dad, he was also a performer too?
Yeah, so speaking of the Apollo, my moms and my pops actually met at the Apollo doing the show. So my pops was a part of a group called IBM Dancers, Intensive Body Movement. They was coming out of East New York and Brooklyn doing their thing, and they was doing the show at the Apollo. And my moms and your mother, they was all doing the show there too. And they met, and voila, here I go.
Bada bing, bada boom, heard. So is that how you got your name?
Yeah. So my father was 28 when he got shot and killed, and he got his name Showtime just from how he came and commanded the crowd and the way he used to move his body and all that. We got time, I'll show some video clips like he really used to get down. So he earned the name Showtime, and because of his untimely demise, I felt like when I got into the creativity space, it was only right I picked the name up and kept it going.
Heard Showtime. So you just celebrated a birthday, right?
Yep.
So what's your sign?
I am the Scorpio.
Heard the Scorpio. How was your birthday? What did you do?
This birthday, we on the 30 side now, so it's like I had a little brunch, just trying to keep the circle small, trying to keep everything tight now. This birthday was really more so a reflective one for me. I've been doing a lot. I got a lot of things I'm working on, podcasts, books, scripts, music. So this one right here, I just wanted to keep for me.
So what is something then you learned in your last chapter that you will want to carry with you into this next chapter, or something that you don't want to carry with you into the future that you learned in your previous chapter?
I take both of those. Something that I learned that I definitely want to keep going is just that positive mentality. Like, I know that I'm the master of my fate, the master of my fate and the captain of my soul. Like, so everything that I want to do, I'm going to do it, and I know that I'm in control of my mindset. So at the last couple of years, I've really been working on, waking up in the morning, watching certain YouTube videos that's only going to feed my positive energy, not waking up, how people wake up and be like, I'm tired, or, oh man, I gotta go to work. Like, I don't do none of that no more. I wake up, I'm ready, I'm alert. Today is a great day. I'm the biggest artist coming out of New York City. I got the best podcast. I got, I just speak a lot of life into myself now. So I'm gonna keep that for the next chapter in my life, speaking positivity and just framing my own mindset each and every day. What I wouldn't keep, I say, I don't know, like, I probably just any kind of all negativity, everything getting curved. If it's not sounding right, feeling right, it's over. I don't care, family, close friends, any kind of relationships that, people think that, they got control of you or whatever like that. It's just over for all that. Bad clubs, bad energy, bad drinks, like anything that's just not feeling right has got to get curved in this new era for me.
Right, not everything can come along on the train, because stuff like that blocks your blessings. So
I agree. I definitely agree.
So not only are you an artist, you're a teacher. Do you incorporate music into your teachings while you're in class?
All the time. I feel like in the beginning, I was a lot more just funny with it. Like, I used to be like turning my lesson plans into songs, and like, I teach math, so it's a lot of vocabulary. It's a lot of formulas and stuff like that the kids got to remember. So I would turn those into rhymes and just like beat it on the desk and have the kids repeat it. And then they fall in love with it fast. They loved it. I actually shot my first music video ever in the class. Shout out to Coney Island Prep. All the kids out there, appreciate y'all. I shot the video with them. I remixed Nas One Mic code that I need my education, and really I dedicated it to one of the kids who like he reminded me of myself. He didn't really value education a lot when he was, you know, in the class with me. He just always was acting up and all that. So one day he was like, I don't need school. And I was like, you really think you don't need school? Like, and I said, you know what? I saw him coming in with his headphones. He always listened to music, hip hop. So I was like, I'm gonna write a song just for you. And he was like, you can't rap. And he actually kind of sparked the energy in me to like, you know, I'm about to really build a whole music career. Like I always wanted to do it, but something about that conversation we had was like, you know what? I'm gonna like show him, and then from here I'm gonna stay consistent. So I wrote this little rhyme called "I Need My Education," and the next day I recorded it, brought it back to him, like, yo, listen to this in your headphones. He listening, and he like, this you? Like you really recorded it? I'm like, yeah. And he started bopping, and then next thing you know, he started singing the lyrics, and he started spreading it to kids in the school. And then I went to the principal, like, look, I got this joint, check it out. I want to record a video with the kids. And he listened. He like, yo, I love it. Shot it. Boom. And I put it on YouTube. At that time, I was graduating with my master's degree. So I feel like that helped the video kind of go viral because I was graduating. Mm-hmm. So I showed my professor the video. My professor had put it on to all of my classmates in grad school, and all of them started spreading it, sharing it. I'm also a part of a program called Teach for America. They took it, wrote an article about it. They put it out. And that just started my whole music career. Like 1K, 2K, 3K, 4K. And mine just my first video. First time on YouTube, first time, you know, experiment with music. And I watched that and I kind of got addicted. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't know about marketing. I ain't know about nothing. So I'm just watching the views, comments shoot up. I'm like, all right, bet we on.
Yeah, you got 15K right now.
Yep.
Hey. So being a teacher now, do you feel like there's some type of responsibility you hold being that you're in such a pivotal moment in their life?
Definitely. I don't take it for granted at all. Like a lot of people ask me about teaching and my experience teaching is like, I feel like everything else that come to me as far as like opportunities, like even you know, the podcast, more music that I've done, higher positions, it all come from the positivity that I pour back into the youth. So as long as I, you know, keep taking advantage of this opportunity, you know, that God gave me, then I feel like everything else will fall in line. Like honestly, since I started teaching, everything has been up. Like I haven't had the same year, you know, since this was like 2014. Like each year has got better and better and better. And a lot of people got horror stories when it comes to teaching. And for me, it's like sometimes I'm quiet in a room full of teachers because I don't have those stories. Like from the first day I started all the way up to now, it's been like a lot of positivity. Of course, it's hard. We in the Bronx. I taught in Harlem. I taught in Brooklyn. So New York City kids is pretty tough. But I'm from New York City, so like I feel like once they see it, and I don't hide who I am, I don't hide my swag. Like I want them to know, like I'm really just like y'all. Pops got killed. I was lacking motivation in school. All these things. I had a lot of energy. I didn't want to raise my hand. I didn't want to sit down. Half of the times when I got expelled from school, it was just because I didn't want to follow rules. It was never no like academic problem. So I relate a lot to the kids, and they relate a lot to me, and we making magic in the classroom.
Did you expect yourself to be a teacher?
Definitely not. What? It's funny because when I was in college, for me, I'm a hustler, so I'm always just thinking about what I'm gonna do to put myself in position. So you know, when I went to college, everybody was saying the same thing. Oh, you know, everybody graduate college, then they gotta look for a job, and people get jobs that they don't really like, or they get the degree and they can't apply it. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna change that. Hustling, making sure I'm doing what I have to do, going on different interviews. I actually was a criminal justice major. So my first 2 job offers was the state trooper. I scored a 99% on that exam. Because, you know, in criminal justice classes, they prepare you to take those type of tests. So I got a 99 on that. I already knew they was going to call me because a 99 is like the first 100,000. I'm not 100,000. Like the first 1,000 people that they're going to call. It's like hundreds to like 98. So I knew I was going to get that call. And then I applied for like school safety and like a police academy just for like safety net. And I got all 3 of them, like school safety, police academy in Virginia, and a state trooper. And my guidance counselor came out of nowhere and was like, I think you should be a teacher. There's this program called Teach for America, and like you're so inspirational. You do a lot on campus, and kids need to see like people like you in the classroom. And then she showed me this article talking about a lack of black males in urban schools. And then it also talked about the positivity of having a black male teacher. So she reeled me in. I went on the interview, and honestly, like the people was like shocked. They was like, "Are you taught before?" But for me, it's like, parents being in entertainment and all that, I have that spirit of like, I'm not nervous to like command the room and, do what I have to do. So when I did the mock interview, all of the people that was like faking being kids in the classroom for my interview, they was all like laughing, joking. And it was just like, I created a nice energy in the room. And they was like, damn, like we really want you to be our teacher. And they was laughing. And after that, the interview, they was like, look, where you want to go, where you want to teach, like, this is your boom.
And that's what sparked you to be here now.
And I took it out of all of those other positions. Like, all of my friends was like, yo, you ain't want to be a state trooper. You'd have had the legal pistol. You'd have been law and all that. And that's really what I was thinking. Like, I wanted to have that power, but I don't know. Something about me something told me like teaching, rock with it. So I followed my gut feeling.
Heard. So I saw on your Instagram a flyer for a Teach Jam conference. Are you going to be performing? Yeah.
So shout out to the Teach Jam co-founders, man. Appreciate y'all. Mosby, Brown, Savage. They got me on the bill to do Teach Jam. That was a big conference for teachers. Teachers all over the world came to the Bronx for a big like teacher professional development conference, and I was the performer for the night. So I gave them my story, did what I do, and that's what that was about. Shout out to Teach Jam.
So when it comes to performing, what's your style?
I would say I'm still developing. Like, I feel like when it comes to performing, it's like every time you perform, I love performing because every time you perform, it's like you get another opportunity to, learn your craft. I watch my videos over and I be like, oh, okay, I got to hit more sides. Or maybe like I do a little move on my shoulder and I see people like that, but I'll never practice that. So now I make that a part of my show. So my show's still evolving, but the type of performer I am, I think I'm real laid back. Like, people be expecting me to be like, oh, like rah rah rah. Like, I dance too. I love dancing, but I just got a smooth, like laid back type of style. So when I'm on the mic, I just go off the energy. I'm big on energy. I go off the energy of the crowd, but sometimes if I don't got the energy, then I lean on myself. But a lot of the records I do is be like just smooth, calm, chill vibe. So it's not really nothing for me to like, go crazy, turn up. But that's not really my style anyway. I'll be on some smooth type of time, Harlem shit.
Heard. So you also started your podcast, How to Beat the Streets. Right? Clap it up for that. How did that come about? You just was like, hey, I need to go out there and start speaking to people and letting people know like you can make it out the streets.
Yep. So this is a exclusive story right here. How to Beat the Streets actually is a book that I'm writing. So y'all stay tuned for that. It's a book that I'm writing. And one of my mentors, I was sharing my ideas with him, showing him, what I was working on. And he was just like, look, right now, all the kids and everybody is kind of into podcasts. So it's like people are still reading like books, but a lot of people getting their knowledge from podcasts. So he was like, maybe you should do the podcast version of it. And like kind of like let it brew up, let people keep saying the name over and over, and like just get people used to you giving that type of knowledge to people as far as how to beat the streets, and then drop the book. So the podcast will kind of be like some marketing for the book. So that's really how it started. It was really a book that I'm still currently finishing up, and basically it's my life story, but in a form of how to like overcome them circumstances. Like, I lived in one of the worst projects as far as like violence and all that, St. Nick and Harlem. A lot of friends got killed. My pops got killed. A lot of my life, my brother was locked up. So it's like the streets is like really all I know, besides when I got serious with my education. So it's like, I think the way I was able to navigate and become who I am today, it got to be like projected. And I feel like one way is the book. And the book, I'm just breaking down like point by point of different things I had to do. Like, I'll give you an example. I got a chapter in a book called Extracurriculum Activities. And extracurriculum activities for a young black man is important. I started working with the Harlem Children's Zone program. The Harlem Children's Zone program plugged me into working with the youth. From there, I was able to, like, when I was in college, I was getting all the jobs, like working in the schools, the after school programs that most college kids would want. I was only able to get it over everyone else because I started working with the Harlem Children's Zone at like 14. So I had all that experience, not thinking about that when I was young, right. But that position put me in position to be who I was in college. I had a BMW in college, getting money because I had a nice job, 2 jobs. So, and then later on, that built my resume to become a teacher. So it's like extracurriculum activities. I did karate. I played basketball in high school, middle school, elementary school. So all of these things, like not knowing, kept me like kind of out of that mindset of like being in the gangs or being like, I was always outside, but because of all these extracurriculum activities, I always had good mentors around me. I always seen kids who never even had to live the street life. So that just kind of sparked my soul a little bit, like, dang, not everybody living this lifestyle. So that was a big pointer. And I got a lot of other gems in there too, but that's just one particular thing.
Do you know when we can expect the book to come out?
This summer.
So stay tuned. But in your pilot for How to Beat the Streets, you spoke on being a product of your environment and having behavioral issues after your father's transition. So what was that moment that clicked in your mind and say like, nah, like I really deserve better for myself?
I think it was more like, so when I first went away to school, I was still getting in a lot of trouble. Like even though I was on I was on campus and I was living the college life, I just wasn't respecting rules. Like I always had a problem with rules. So like, you know, in college you got the RAs and all that. Like, you know, my mindset when I got there, I'm like, I finally got the crib. I grew up, you know, me, my sister, my mom. Like I never really had my own room until like senior year for like a couple of months, and then I went to college. But that was my first time like having my own room for real. So when I went to college, I'm like, no parents. I got my own space, like nobody telling me nothing. And then I got RAs knocking on my door for my music, knocking on the door for, I'm like, yo. So I was just real disrespectful when it came down to like the RAs and like listening. So I end up, you know, getting in some trouble, and I got suspended from college. And when I got suspended, I moved to ATL, my mom's, and it was just kind of like a look she kind of gave me where it was like, damn, I don't know. Like she never ever like show any signs of giving up on me. But I felt like when I went to college, she was like more so like, damn, I don't know if he gonna get it. And that was enough for me right there. Like, I gotta get this. I gotta get myself together. And then I started working at the gas station in ATL. Like I'm literally cash or credit, you know, working at BP gas station, and it just was like a humbling experience for me. I was still getting money, like I said, hustling. I'm always gonna find a way, but I was just on college campus, like living that life, and then I'm at the gas station in ATL, like on a highway doing the 12 to 6 a.m. shift. Like, so my life changed drastically, and that was it for me. Like I was like, all right, yo, I'm gonna apply back to school, get back. And once I get back, I'm going crazy. Like, that's how I pledged Omega Psi Phi. I was the president of my chapter. I started joining all the programs, all my classes, A's and all that. I went crazy because it was just, that was that time where I knew I had to turn up.
Right. He's like, nah, I can't go back. Can't go back. So with your podcast, How to Beat the Streets, you've had guests such as Wallow, Akbar, I'm saying his name right?
Akbar Cook, yep.
And The Rock Logic. What is some of the best advice you have been given thus far from your guests?
I remember Rock Logic, he made that song Shake What Your Mama Gave Ya, and like one of the biggest things I learned from him was kind of just like financial literacy. He was like, you know, chasing your dreams, like it's gonna work out. Like just stay down, like God give you talents for a reason. But the biggest part of the gems that he gave me was kind of like, you know, just take care of your finances. Like when you get money, don't like blow it. Oh, you know, all the stuff you see when people get money. Like they advertise these things all the time, but it really ain't that serious. Like you got this money, like make the money work for you, and like, you know, just keep financial literacy in the back of your mind. Wallow is like walking gems. Like it was so much. I don't know where to start, but from Wallow was more so just like believing yourself, and you already are who you want to be. So just own it now. You know what I mean? Like, so that's kind of what I got from him. And then Akbar Cook, you know, he's a principal of Westside High School. It's a classic school in Jersey. And for him, just same thing. Like he grew up in Newark, didn't have his father growing up, so it was just more so about perseverance, like push through. And all these people that I'm interviewing, it's just helping me realize, like, man, I'm really like, I'm him, like I'm doing it. And my story is no different than any of these other brothers' story. And I feel like I'm just walking in my path. Like one day, you know, I'll be on that other side and someone younger interviewing me, and I kind of already have that story. Now it's just about the elevation. Like you see, the podcast, the book. I already got a lot of videos on YouTube doing well, so I'm here.
Right. No, I definitely feel you. I feel like that version of ourselves that we see already exists.
Right.
And it's just us having to catch up to ourselves, basically.
I feel that.
So when did it really dawn on you that you're an artist? Like, I'm an artist. I want to make music. I'm really an artist out here.
I would definitely say that first video with the kids, like the way the school community like supported, I was just like, wow, you know what I mean? Like everybody singing the lyrics. I had performed like for the whole like middle school, and everybody knew the song. I was just like, it was just a good time for me during that time. But then I had to follow up. So I made this song called Feels Like. And that song was just like, I was like in my 5th year teaching, and I'm like in the heart of this thing, like doing the 9-to-5 thing consistently. And I'm just like, wow. I feel like I don't do what I want to, but I got to. Like after a while, I was like, I don't really want to teach no more. But it was working so well. I got kids passing the state exam. I got all these different letters from parents, and everybody. The love was like overwhelming. So I knew I had to do it. So I just started writing that song down. Like, feel like I don't do what I want to, but I got to. And I dropped it. You know, I put the song out, shot a video for it, and then that was my next big song to follow up. And I started getting booked for shows and like performing all over. You know, that kind of song is not like a rah 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 hip hop or crazy like club record or nothing like that. So I used to be a little nervous going into the showcases and performing that type of record. Like, mind you, this is like the drill is like bubbling, it's coming up, and you know, it's the underground scene. So the underground scene, shout out to New York City underground scene, all the rappers, all the spitters, man, I love it. It's like you know, it's rising stars. It's like a lot of energy in there, but I really used to be the only one coming with that kind of feel, like, and the people responded well. It's like that led to another show, and then the streaming platforms, I started making money off the streams, and I just was like, whoa. So that was that feeling, like I'm here. You know, the royalties coming in, the shows coming in, the Instagram following is growing, and I was like, okay, I can't stop, and I haven't stopped.
Can't stop, won't stop. So what would you say to a rising artist who wants to get in the music scene but doesn't know how or where to start?
Start. Really, like you just gotta do it, man. Like for me, like when we talked about earlier, like something that I want to like leave in the past, and it was more so like when I talk about like negative energy and all that, it's like it's so much people with opinions now in this new era. So for me, I would just say like, don't even get on that, yo, ask your friends, yo, like this is hot, or post your video and write a caption like, yo, is this hot or not, or all that. Like none of that. Just drop on them, like drop, and then you become your own fan first. Like I remember Jadakiss said, long as I know I'm nice, fuck it, I'm my own fan. Like if you know you rocking and you feeling in your heart to do it, just do it. Don't ask no opinions. Don't send a MP3 file before you put it on the platforms. Like nah, they gonna listen and comment once it's already out there. Like don't worry about nobody. Just do it. And the younger you start, the better you're gonna be.
Right. Like
right now, I mean, I started teaching when I was like 22 years old. Like I feel like I'm great at teaching because I started young. You know what I mean? And I got more years to go if I continue to do it.
Right.
Same thing with music. Like if I would have took that idea I had at 12 and started at 12, like I literally would have been like a wordsmith. Because it's like with anything you do, you're gonna get better with time. Right. So just go. Like it's no waiting, no comments, no who's doing, like none of that. Just go.
Right. Advice that my nail tech gave me back in Binghamton, she was like, opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. So don't even feed into it. And that will always stick with me. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Why am I worried about what the next person is telling me about myself? And another thing too, like people don't understand, like a vision that comes to you, that directly goes to your head. So that thought that initiated, you just have to go for it because it's not going to be resonating with everybody else. So let's get back into the music. You got a song called Get Back Love featuring Unique.
Woo!
Right? And I know you was married. So I want to ask, because you have a line in there that says, even after we fuss, I still want to see you. Never worry about them chicks. They just want to be you. So
they just want to ride shotgun in the whip. I love make them style. Oh, sorry.
well, first of all, how long have you been married for?
3 years.
3 years. So my question is, you're in the music industry, right? And we all know that comes with fans and groupies and so forth. How do you maintain a solid foundation in your marriage while navigating through the industry?
Uh-oh. Here we go. So, really, it's like, I feel like that question is kind of like more geared towards the wifey situation. It's because like I feel like anyone in that role, it kind of really depends on the type of woman you have. Same thing with women, though. It could be the type of man you have.
Right.
It's all about how confident that person is, because it's like as long as that person is confident and not really worried about all that, it's good. Because I feel like once you don't have confidence, then that's when the all the insecurity things, like guys do it, women do it, like what, checking your phone, or who's this person or who's that person, and honestly all that's going to do is just create friction, and then the relationship is lost. And I'm the kind of person, like, as you can tell, I was saying a lot, rules and me don't really go well. So the only person that could work well with me is the person that kind of just let me do my thing. You feel me? As far as like, if you making music, I'm supporting it. If you, whatever it is, like, I'm just supporting it. So I think I don't even attract the kind of person that'd be unconfident and all that. And in return, I show love when I see that, because I understand it's hard. You know what I mean? So I always show love, and that's where my consistency comes from too. Like, if I'm shooting something or I'm doing something, it's just respect. You know what I mean? However y'all take that, I just show respect.
Heard. Yeah, it definitely is difficult. You see it all the time. People getting like cheated on and stuff coming out. So I know that would be, since you're married too, I know that's advice that some people can take within their own relationship. The next song I want to get into is Midnight, and that's featuring D. Rimpson.
Shout out D. Rims, good, my boy.
Right. And then both of you guys were considered for a Grammy nomination for Best Rap Performance. How did that make you feel? How did that news come about? Like, tell me, give me the details.
So my boy D. Rim, he from like Detroit, mixed with a little bit of California, mixed with a little bit of Vegas, and he's a DJ. So he's a well-known DJ out there in Vegas, and he's also a part of the, I don't want to say this wrong, but he's somehow in the Grammy space, like a voter. He went to Berkeley College of Music. Like, he's a music head for real. So he had like seen me on Instagram, and like how I deliver the music and how I do my thing, and he make a lot of beats like that's not like traditional. I don't want to say not traditional. He just make like a smooth sound when he doing his thing, and for me, I got a smooth sound, like how I do my thing. So that's how we connected. Like, he had sent me a beat, killed it, and from there we had locked in. And when we did Midnight was just jumping. Like, as soon as we did that, response was great. We got marketing now. I've been doing this for a while, so now we got marketing teams. We got everything in the right position, and it ended up in the right hands. And then they put it to him, like, you should submit this, and he submitted it, and it got considered. And I think that's just a big part right there, just to be considered, because that means like the Grammys is like real, particular. Like, they have a group of people who listens and do all those things. So I feel like the next level was probably more politics, but just to be considered was good enough for us.
And to be heard, have your music being heard, and your name in that room.
Right.
Their next song is Little Bro. Now, I want to just say, like, I do believe in divine's timing, so I know that this video is going to reach whoever it needs to reach, for whoever's listening. But you have a lyric in there that says, "There's grown men out here grown that never grow." What would you say to that youngin' who's being manipulated by the OGs that's on the block, that want them to do like the dirty work and don't motivate them to go to school, and have them be out in the streets? What would you say to that youngin' who's like caught up in between all the mix?
That question is kind of what I do for a living, honestly. Like, working in New York City schools, like, Little Bro is literally like every kid that I teach every day. So when you say the message is gonna hit, I feel like it's like hitting constantly, because if a kid asks me today, and you make music, let me hear something, first thing I hit him with is Little Bro, boom. And it's like, you could try to be like hot or whack or whatever, but when you really listening to the lyrics, that whole song would just be pouring out, you know what I mean, my heart to all the youth that's going through that, because I was going through all that, like, same type of things.
Well, we're going to take a commercial break, you guys.
And be right back.
This is the Ms.NiyaNicole Show. I'm here to spark your soul. I'm with Ramel.
Cheer, what's up?
Welcome back. This is your girl, Ms.NiyaNicole, and this is the Ms.NiyaNicole Show. And we're back with Showtime.
Yeah.
I was just asking you, what would you say to basically the youngins that's being manipulated by OGs? But on the flip side, what would you say to the OGs who's doing the manipulation?
Sometimes I feel like it's like learned behavior. Like, a lot of the OGs I know is like, if they went through that, they might not even, understand, the effects of it because they went through that. It was kind of like a rite of passage for them. So they just doing, to the youngest what was done to them. So sometimes I don't think they even see, how detrimental it could be, to the culture or to the youth. So it kind of depends on what stage of life they're from, because I also know a lot of brothers from the street who like real conscious too. So it's like I don't know how I would approach it, but more so like I don't know. It depends on the relationship I got with the person, because like you can't really just say anything to anybody, because everybody don't take messages, or everybody don't take critique or criticism in a positive way. And I'm a type of dude, like, for me, like, I don't want nobody to feel like, yo, you think you better than us. You know what I mean? So I probably would tailor it based on the person. Like, if I know that this type of person is somebody that I could relate to, somebody that I could talk to, somebody that could take it well, then I'd probably hit him with something like, yo, this youngin right here, he have a lot of potential. Like, he could do a lot of great things. You know what I mean? Like, with something else we could have him doing, or just let them more so know more about that kid. Like, even if it's like, yo, his parent situation. Like, sometimes you got young kids who parents, is incarcerated, or parents is into drugs and all that. So sometimes I feel like you just got to let these guys know what these kids are up against. And that right there might spark something inside them. Like, yeah, you're right, bro, my fault. But I do think it take a lot of vulnerability for a man that's in that type of position to take advice from somebody who, maybe doing better, or might have made different decisions. So it take a lot for them to even be able to be receptive to that. So when you ask me that question, I feel like that's not an easy topic. Like, even a lot of like motivational speakers, or like guys that's in the reform type of work, they'll tell you like that's not as easy as people think to just come to somebody and like share that type of information, because I feel like a lot of dudes do know what they're doing. So it's like they don't really want to hear that. It's like you might get the cold shoulder, or you might, all right, baby, yeah, you right, bro, like on some shrug you off and like, yo, dude, we think he is. So I would just tread lightly and like do a little bit more research on who that person is before I just come at them like that.
Yeah, I definitely understand that, because as I was saying before, when you're not vibrating at a high level or on the same level, people are not going to understand things. It's going to go over their heads because they're just not in the same chapter of life as you. So I definitely understand where you're coming from. Not everything is meant for somebody to get at that time, but they have to probably go through their own experiences in order to say, hey, I remember when Showtime pulled up and told me, and it was like, you know what? He was right, but it took me this minute because I had to learn through my experiences to get here and mature to the point that I'm at now. So
see, I feel like that's something my mom's probably would have told me, like, yo, don't hold back, just tell them, because like that person could get locked up tomorrow, and like something that you said could like spark change in them. So like, don't hold back, because you just never know. Right. As far as like how that person could, like, on the flip side, might not do that no more just because he might be ready. It's just you just don't know who ready at the moment, type of thing.
Right. And you also don't know who they're surrounding themselves with, so people are not necessarily pouring into them to understand. Like, there is somebody out there who's like, you know what, you're right, I can just change routes and try something else differently. But like we said, we just need people like ourselves to help spark their souls in order to awaken that spirit within them. So I want to ask though, what is your creative process like when you're making music, when you're recording your podcast, or maybe coming up with an idea for a video? What does that creative process look like for you?
For me, that's like my favorite part. I ain't gonna lie. Like, normally a lot of the music, it's like the beat. Like, the beat kind of tell me what to do. Like, I'm thinking about this song I got called Sunlight, and the beat is just, it's real like yacht party, bad boy 2000 type of vibe. So that's the kind of space I get into, and the videos normally come from the audio. Like, after I listen to the song a few times, whatever I'm saying in the lyrics, that's how I make the treatment for the video. So really, when it comes to the music, honestly, the beats always tell me what to say. Like, I very rarely do I go into writing already knowing what I want to write. It's just like I listen to the beat and it's like, okay, I gotta talk about like what I went through as far as losing my pops on this. Or it's like, oh, I gotta talk about love. Like, if you know that, you hear that my new joint right now called Get Back Love, like the beat is just, you could hear it in the beat. It's like, oh, I gotta talk about, you know what I mean, when I'm feeling like all lovey-dovey, like it's just that type of vibe. So normally it's the beats that tell me what to say. And as far as writing video treatments, it's like after I listen to my song a few times, I know where I need to go as far as writing a video treatment.
Now, you said the beat talks to you. Do you think that's the only entity that's speaking through you when you're coming up with your songs and lyrics? Because also your father has transitioned over. Do you feel like he sometimes connect and resonate with you when you're writing music?
You know, I had one of his friends tell me that too. Like, before he passed, he was like writing songs and recording. And I got one of his songs that somebody put on YouTube, and really that's the only way I was able to hear my pop's voice. Like, I kind of like forgot how my pop sound. My pop's passed when I was 8, so we did have a little bit of time together. But after a while, I kind of like lost sight of basically what he sound like or whatever. So the song on YouTube is what kind of like brings him back to me. And then because he was in like the last couple of days of him living, he was really trying to like write music and all that. Like his last girlfriend, I went to her apartment like 2 years ago, and she like gave me his rhyme book, and I got like, even right now I got all his raps and all that. So I do feel like it's something spiritual, you know, when I'm doing my thing, because it's like even taking on the name Showtime. In the beginning, I wasn't going to take on that name, but I just felt like, you know, because in Showtime it's bold. It's like, yo, would you? And I'm not like him. He was flipping and hopping off of stages and breaking his bones with the moves and all that. So I get why he got that name. And for me, it's like I'm just more calm, reserved, and smooth. So like, I ain't want to take the name at first, but then something just said like, nah, you gotta own it. Like, this is family history. Like, you earned it. And my grandfather was also a professional singer with a group called the Drifters. So here it is.
In your bloodline.
So yeah, definitely. One of my uncles is a DJ. Shout out to Fish Fire. Like, it's definitely a lot of music in my family.
Who would you want to collaborate with?
One collaboration I think that would shock everybody. I would like want to collaborate with KRS-One. I feel like KRS-One is like notorious for like shutting down all the like the industry aspects of rap, like the commercialized stuff. Like, he wanted to be like beats, rhymes, and culture, and, you know, uplifting the people, and like, yo, spit that raw, uncut. We don't want to hear that radio. So I feel like, and he from the Bronx, and like, he was just a big part of hip hop in its like truest form. So I feel like sparring with KRS-One, I feel like we could make something that could like just change the world and get everybody back to like, yo, we don't want to talk money all day and fronting and flexing. Like, let's talk about like some real lyrical exercise, get the people going type of stuff. So KRS-One is one of them.
All right, so we putting that out in the universe.
Yo, KRS-One, what's up, kid?
Right, holla at your boy. So what is next? What's coming up? So you talked about the book, and that's coming out in the summertime. You got this podcast, How to Beat the Streets. What's next? Are we expecting a project, EP? Yeah, so right now I got a series. It's called Time to Show, and that's actually like the name of my business. It's called Time to Show. And I had Volume 1 out, Volume 2, Volume 3, Volume 4, so I'm working on Volume 5 right now. I'm going to drop that. You know, sometimes I don't like dropping in December, because it's like in like 20 days, it's going to look super old. Because once that 2023 hit and your music say 2022, it feels like it's mad old, even if you just did it. You know what I mean? So I might drop Time to Show Volume 5 right around New Year's. I'm working on it right now. You know, I got the Get Back Love out. I got this new song called Hood Poetry that I performed at Teach Jam. I really made that like right before the Teach Jam and performed it live just to see how the crowd react. And they all loved it, so I'm going to jump into that. And then I got another song out with a singer. I'm going to keep that low. And then I might add 2 more, and then that's 5 joints. They go to EP, so that's coming. Okay, so make sure y'all stay tuned. So let us know where we can find you once you drop all of this.
Tap in with me on YouTube first and foremost. Like, YouTube, like one of my favorite platforms. I just love the creativity of, you know, dropping audio whenever I want, dropping videos whenever I want. So Ramel Showtime on YouTube, RAMEL Showtime. That's where you can get all my videos. I even got the EPs on there as playlists. And then on all streaming platforms, I got all the EPs, all the singles. You know, you can type in Showtime. But people told me they find my music faster when they type in like Showtime Cheers Tonight. That's like one of my like big songs. You type in that, and then you can go to my profile. And I'm also I want to address this because I changed my name to Showtime Ra. So a lot of people have been asking me like, yo, you Showtime or you Showtime Ra? I'm like, I'm Showtime Ra because it's easier to find me on Apple, Spotify, and all, like, you know, the name Showtime. It's like, you know, it's a broad name. Right. So for going forward, for music purposes, I'm going to put everything under Showtime Ra. And I already got an EP under that already. I'll be working.
Heard you. Heard Showtime Ra. So, last question before we get into our game. What would you tell your past self and what would you ask your future self?
That's a good question. I would tell my past self to just believe in the gifts, because I feel like a lot of these things that I'm doing now, it's kind of always been there. And I think we talked about this a little bit off camera. It's like even like being a teacher, I always was good academically. Like literally every time I got in trouble in school, they always tell my mom like, yo, he academically, he raised his hand, he participate, he passing all his tests, his quizzes, his grades is good. Like he's a quintessential kid, always asking questions. He's great in the classroom, but I just can't get him to listen and chill out. Like, and he was like, you know, I got easily frustrated. So if something happened, I start bugging out, you know, too quick. But that's always been there. And then making music, I've been writing poems. Like I used to write my own little make-up stories. So like I just write the name on paper like James, and then I'll take James through a whole little thing and see if he could get through it or get out of it. And these are little things that I've always done. So writing a book was like pretty easy for me. I was like shocked at just opening up Microsoft Word and 1 chapter, 2 chapter, 3, and I'm like, it's nothing to it. So, but it's really, I've always been doing these kind of things. So I would tell my younger self, like, you got it. You know what I mean? Like, just start faster. I would have been putting stuff out, just doing more like 13, 14, 15. There was no reason why I shouldn't. My future self.
What would you ask your future self?
What would I ask my future self? I would ask my future self, is entertainment really a part of the pathway? I know, like, sometimes I be bugging sometimes, thinking too much, but like sometimes I be wanting to know, you know what I mean? Because like I have a lot of things I want to do. Like I'm gonna keep it 100. We on the Ms.NiyaNicole Show, so I always wanted to be like a lawyer. You know what I mean? So sometimes I feel like when I chose to teach and do music. Like that was a deal I made with myself. Like, all right, if I'm gonna teach, then I'm gonna do music, and these two gonna go hand in hand, because I'm leaving behind the whole like law and criminal justice aspect, because like I was a beast at that too. So my future self, I probably would ask like, yo, you sure? Like, I bet. Like, you know what I mean? But you know, I you know,
I get it. Now I ask that because I'm spiritual, so I do believe that we can connect with our future self, and our future self is always connecting with us. And I feel like if we ask the questions, we're gonna get an answer and a response. If we just tune into ourselves and just know that we're getting messages and receiving messages.
I ain't gonna lie, you got me looking around right now. Like, I think I just heard yes. I don't know if that was me or
right. On some Back to the Future type situation. So let's get into the game. It's called Showtime or No Time. So basically, I'm gonna ask you a few things, and if it's a go, it's showtime. If not, you give it no time. So first question: do you write your own lyrics?
Showtime.
Heard.
Heavy on it.
Do you act like you're performing in the shower or the mirror?
Showtime. All day. I mean,
getting busy.
What? That's half of my what's that called? Rehearsal.
Okay.
That's my whole rehearsal.
Do you get down with these TikTok dances?
No time. But you know, like I said, I really do love dancing, but it's like, I don't know right now to find time to set my camera up, 1 or 2 or 3. Like I can't go crazy right now. But if I find something I like, I'm in it.
Would you go on Love and Hip Hop if they was to ask you?
Showtime. Just because I feel like, I don't know, my the way I move, my characteristics and all that, I think I'm just made for the TV and for just for people to see something different. I feel like my style is not the normal type of thing that you see. It'd be like, oh, who this white? Like, I just think I'm different. So yeah, and I probably would add a little positivity to it too, like
right, a little spin. Do you pray or meditate?
Showtime. Definitely pray. Meditation is something I got into recently, but I love it. You know what I mean? Finding a quiet space. You know, sometimes I sit on the floor, dolo, and close my eyes and just listen to the sounds of the wind and take deep breaths, and it really do work. Like, I'll be proud of myself for just sitting down and like quieting up the space and just getting right. And I do think about it a lot when I'm in that space. So definitely.
Hey. So I do ask people this: what motivates you to show up for yourself?
Oh, that's a great question. Honestly, it's like I reflect a lot. So it's like thinking about my story, and mainly it's like my father, like, not being here is like he motivated me so much by not being here. Like sometimes I think like, damn, if I had a pops, what would I be like? You know what I mean? Because my biggest motivation for doing what I do would be like, damn, my pops died at 28. And it's like I just appreciate a lot of stuff. Like everything that comes my way, I appreciate it and I take care of it. So it's like, and that's because I know he lost his life so young. He had 3 boys, a girl, so 4 kids. You know, he had a lot to, to live for. So in return, I appreciate it. So, that's one of my biggest motivations to show up for myself. And I feel like just being a young black man, single parent home, growing up, in the projects, growing up in the Bronx, Brooklyn, Harlem, like I got a little bit of everything in me. I just feel like I owe it to myself, you know what I mean? I owe it to the culture. Like I just want everybody to see like somebody do it different. Like I love, talking about being a teacher, talking about getting my bachelor's degree, getting my master's degree, like because I just want people to see, somebody do something different for a change, you know what I mean? And that's why I like rapping, because it's like, it's not traditional. Like they had mentioned like Cole or Kendrick, but I feel like when it comes to education and even getting into the career, I took it further. You know what I mean? So it's like when I blow, it's gonna be like a change to like the whole pathway. It's like, yo, I just did it my way, and I think that's what hip hop is, just doing it your way.
Right, when you blow. I love the verbiage because people be putting things out there like if or stuff like that, and I feel like that causes basically where you're confusion with the universe. Like are you sure you want this or not? And if you're sure and you know that you're going to make it, then you got to use that verbiage like when this happens, because I already know it's happening. This is how it's going to go down. But thank you so much for being a guest, a part of my show, the Ms.NiyaNicole Show. I enjoyed this interview. It's like fruition like that this is coming about, that our mothers are best friends. They knew each other before we were even born. So it's like,
this is dope.
And look at us now in the entertainment field doing it our way. So
here we go.
Cool. So thank you.
Y'all stay tuned in, man. She doing great things, y'all.
Thank you. So this is Ms.NiyaNicole. I'm here to spark your soul. Make sure y'all tune in later.
Showtime.
Follow me. Follow me. Follow me. Like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me. Follow me. Follow me. Like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me. Follow me. Follow me. Like, comment, and subscribe.